It's not just a house, it's an iceberg. 90% of it is underground, and you think you know this house? You don't. To understand the essence of power, we need to go back 233 years, to the mud. George Washington stood right here. He chose a swamp as his capital, but he envisioned a masterpiece. No machines, just brute force. October 1792. The first earth is moved by hand. The architect is James Hoban. His reward for this project, $500 and a gold medal. The cornerstone is secretly laid by the Freemasons. To this day, no one knows exactly where it is. This house was built by everyone, enslaved workers, immigrants, and local residents. Every inch of this foundation was won with human sweat. The stone came from Aquia Creek. It is soft and porous, easy to carve, but incredibly heavy to move. Skilled stonemasons were brought in from Scotland. They were the best in the world. Every flower on the exterior was hand-carved. It took years to finish the ornaments, burning oyster shells to make lime for the mortar. The heat was intense and the smell unbearable. By 1795, the largest stone house in America was finally beginning to take shape. It was becoming a giant in a land of country homes. The internal structure was entirely wood. It was beautiful, but also the greatest structural weakness of the building. That wood was a ticking time bomb, thanks to a waterproofing technique from the 1790s, melted lead. It was deadly for the workers, but the only way to keep the rain out. Glass was a luxury. Most of it was imported from Europe, and half of it broke before even reaching Washington. Horsehair. That's what keeps the plaster from cracking. It is 1798, and after 6 years we are finally almost finished. The grand staircase was built for kings, but destined for a president. Even today, it is the most important ascent in the country. It is November 1800. The house is freezing and the paint hasn't even dried. But the president arrives today, November 1st. President John Adams arrives. Of the 36 rooms, only 6 are truly habitable. Welcome home. First Lady Abigail Adams had to use the East Room to dry the family's laundry, cooking for an entire nation over an open fire, no running water, no light switches, just wood, iron, and fire. The East Room would not be fully completed until 20 years later. For now, it is merely a cavern of empty promises. Washington wanted an oval room to receive guests, a space without corners where people could not hide. Water had to be carried by hand, one bucket at a time, no pipes or faucets. Why white? It was not a matter of style. They applied a thick coat of lime plaster to seal the more porous stone. Jefferson arrived in 1801. Jefferson added the first wings. At that time, they were not for offices, but for ice, meat, and wine, the hidden machinery of the mansion. Would you look at that? 1804. Finally, the first indoor bathroom. No more nighttime walks out to the garden. Jefferson was a true technology enthusiast for his era. The wild swamp slowly transforms into a landscape. For the first time, the house does not merely rise above the land, it belongs to it. It is 1810, finally completed, but in just 4 years, everything will be consumed by flames. August 1814. The British are coming to take this house. The peace of the last decade is over. They ate Dolly Madison's dinner. They toasted the king with the president's wine, and then prepared to burn everything down. The furniture, the books, the history, all of it vanished in seconds. They didn't just want to win, they wanted to erase the heart of the capital. The wooden structure turned into a furnace. The heat was so intense that the stone began to crack. An extraordinary storm finally put out the fire. Nature tried to save the house. The interior was gone. Only the cracked, smoke-stained stone ruins remained. Some wanted to move the capital to Cincinnati, far from British ships. But for the Republic to survive, this house had to be rebuilt. James Hoban is hired again. Older now, he must reconstruct his masterpiece from the ashes of the original. They couldn't remove the stains. The fire was too intense, and the smoke had penetrated too deeply. The house was scarred forever. This is the moment they painted it white to conceal the damage caused by the fire. The White House received a new roof, but with the same dangerous wooden design. They are rebuilding the house exactly as it was, trapping a forest of timber inside a stone box. The heating system of 1815. More chimneys mean more smoke, but it's the only way to keep the president warm. Monroe wanted something more elegant than before. The house is no longer just a residence, it is a statement of style. The French style is the new goal. The house is becoming a palace. We have gone beyond mere survival. This is the era of good taste, and everything is gilded. Security. After the fire, they realized the house needed real protection. These gates are a reminder of what happened in 1814. Monroe returns to the Blue Room. This is not just a ceiling. It is the crowning element of the most important room in the house, more solid than in 1792, but still made only of wood and stone. This was high-tech communication in 1817. A faucet in the dining room, and down below, someone is already serving coffee. New Year's Day, 1818, the first proper driveway for the president. The house finally has an entrance befitting its status. The exterior is still not complete, but the columns are finally being installed. They are literally sculpting the earth to accommodate the house. It is a monumental undertaking to shape what we now call the Presidential Park. It's a box. Let's give it the iconic curve. They are not merely decorative. They support the great portico 9 meters high. One slip and the stone would shatter, the most famous porch in the world. History greets you from here. Finally, the house has its front portico. A dry entrance, no more getting wet on the way in. Lighting the darkness, but the floorboards begin to creak. Gas lighting. The candles are gone, but the air grows heavier with smoke. Running water. No more buckets from the garden. A modern kitchen. The kitchen is finally evolving. Natural light for the dark corridors. The first west corridor was actually a flower garden. Coal heating is now everywhere. The fireplaces are purely decorative. The first instant message, the White House is connected. The wooden structure is now 30 years old. It is suffering, solving the odor problem, a scandal for a president, the first official White House library, replacing wood with stone, fire safety and style, sealing the iconic entrance, the signal that the president is home. It is already the icon we know, but the interior is growing too small. It is 1912. This house was meant to be a home, but it is being swallowed by work. It is chaos. The flowers are gone. We need offices. Excavating the foundation for the temporary executive office building. The first bridge between home and work was meant to be temporary. It is still there today. The president finally has a real office. 1891. Electricity. President Harrison was very afraid to touch the light switches, adapting a century-old stone house to the age of electricity without stairwells. The president ascends to where the most important decisions in history are made. Taft wanted an office that would honor the history of the house. Building a room without corners was a challenge. The resolute desk, a gift from the Queen carved from a ghost ship. Security becomes urgent. Another fire. The West Wing suffers damage but is immediately rebuilt. Unified. One building, one appearance, one protected passage for the president. The White House is finally buzzing. The sounds of the new executive power. Logistics for the president, preserving the main residence as a museum. A quiet refuge just steps from the Oval Office, combating Washington's humidity. A warning, the house is growing too heavy for its aging foundation. A patch on a dying structure, more weight on the roof. The power has shifted, but the house is on the verge of collapse. The roof is literally rotting. It is 1927, and it is a deadly trap. Removing the original 1817 roof, modernity arrives. The White House gets its first real steel structure, the sound of progress, steel beams replacing wood, increasing the living space by 50% without altering the silhouette. Fireproof and solid for the first time, the president's private balcony. The world is at war. The White House needs to become a fortress. The public believes it serves as offices. In reality, it is a facade for something else, a secret excavation project at night in Washington's clay soil. The Presidential Emergency Operations Center. The White House now has a basement capable of withstanding a bomb, a 230-meter tunnel connecting the East Wing to the Treasury Building, Roosevelt's war room where the world was governed. Moving the office to where it is today, better lighting, more privacy, the first bulletproof windows. 1942, hiding the house from enemy bombers, the nerve center of the war. The house is bearing too much weight, it is groaning. The stone walls are pulling apart. The house is giving way. With every passing truck, the house cries out. It is sinking into the swamp. It cannot wait any longer. One more year and this house will collapse. It has reached its limit. A piano nearly fell through the floor. The White House is officially condemned. It is not safe for the president to live here. They wanted to demolish it, but the stone structure was too iconic to be lost. Large-scale excavation begins. We are going inside the structure. Everything 150 years old is being removed. This is my favorite part. An excavator where the Red Room used to be, anchoring the house into bedrock, no more sinking into the swamp. It is a building inside another building. The White House is now a reinforced concrete bunker, rebuilding the floors level by level, stronger than ever, adding more escape routes. Modern plumbing in every room. The digital age begins here. No more sweating in Washington's heat. The walls are white and clean again. The iconic white returns. Truman's controversial balcony. People hated it. Now we love it. A puzzle, fitting the old facade onto a new structure. Brighter than ever, ready to receive world leaders. It took 4 years and $6 million. The house is immortal. Every house has secrets. This one has dozens. Now it is solid, no more swaying. Modern executive power. Yes, it looks like the 19th century. It has the atmosphere of the 1950s, but it was built for 2030. This house is about to reclaim its soul. It is becoming a museum, not just an office, recovering the history that was buried, transforming the White House into a museum. Even the most powerful person in the world needs a way to decompress. As real-time intelligence becomes a priority, the Situation Room is born. The first energy-efficient White House ahead of its time. And the swimming pool is still there, right beneath the feet of the journalists. The digital revolution arrives at the West Wing. Total global connectivity, an end to secrets, protection against modern threats, keeping the president calm under pressure. The wall rises, shielding data from any attack, making state dinners for 200 people possible. It's not just a house, it's an iceberg. 90% of it is underground. It is a city under one roof, and it will be ready by 2026. 233 years of courage, fire and steel.